All right, welcome back to the Press Play podcast. This is episode 12.
Yes, sir.
I always have to look at you for confirmation because I'm so bad at this. Even though I'm the one that numbers them on Spotify and all that.
You think you'd have the count.
Yeah, you think I would, but I don't. These weeks kind of run together after a while. But you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/podcastpressplay. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Stitcher, whatever, hey, thanks for sticking around.
Absolutely. We love you.
If you notice, I did not put a clip at the beginning of this movie because I'm the one that does the editing, and I hate this movie, and I do what I want.
He is, of course, speaking of The Crow.
Yeah, we mentioned at the end of the last episode, this is probably the first movie that we've done that we actually disagree on, which is going to be fun. But I told him, I was like, you know what? I watched it yesterday, and I'm thinking before I started the movie, I'm like, maybe I just need to give it a chance. Maybe I don't hate it as much as I think I do. No, hate it still. I don't hate it. I just don't care for it. I think it's overrated. There are parts that I like.
Okay.
But as a whole, it's not a movie that I go back to because I'm like, I haven't seen it in forever. I got to watch it. It's like, I haven't seen it in a while. Probably because I don't like it. That's why.
I enjoy this movie. It is quintessential 90s cheese.
It is definitely
very 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that. And there are parts of the screenplay and whatnot that don't age well.
No.
The effects don't age well at all. But that being said, I think there's a lot of charm in this movie. It's a high fantasy. It's an urban fantasy.
Yeah.
And you gotta, give it some forgiveness. I akin it to, movies like Highlander and even movies like Legend. That's what it is. It's a fantasy film.
Legend.
So
speaking of movies I don't like,
except for Tim Curry.
Tim Curry's the only saving grace of that movie, and if it's on and I am able to fast forward, I am skipping right to him because I do not want to see Tom Cruise in this movie. He is so bad. But we're not talking about Legend. I don't know if we ever will because I really don't want to.
So go with me, if you will, my friend.
Okay.
Point by point. Why do you not like this film?
Well, I remember watching, and the first thing I was watching it last night. The first thing I thought was, I really don't care for this kid that is in the movie.
No. The Sarah character is dispensable. She had a very, very small role in the graphic novel. Surprise, surprise, this is a comic book movie.
Yeah, which I did not read.
But no, I haven't either. But I do know that she was a much smaller part.
Right. She is a character that has nothing to do with this movie realistically. If you take her out, this movie doesn't change.
No, it doesn't really. She's there to be rescued. That's it.
Pretty much.
But so I don't care for her, and that was that's a product of its time. You had to have someone for the guy to rescue. And this could have been a straight-up revenge flick, and it would have been fine.
Or you could have just had, maybe the Ernie Hudson character, because it's Ernie Hudson, right?
Yeah.
Maybe have him, be taken hostage or something because he's kind of caught in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Or just the fact that they, at the end,
or he finds out that the main bad guy is the one who orchestrated the whole thing. There's your ultimate revenge. That's all you need.
Or the fact that because near the end, the bad guy figured out that the crow was what gave him his power, and he needed to go get the bird back. I don't know.
Yeah, something.
I just didn't like her at all. Like, no point in this movie where I was like, oh, she's fun. No, every time she's on screen, I just get her out of here.
No, her performance is very flat.
Yes.
She really has. She's angsty 90s teenager. That's all she is. That's her character. And her mother, discount Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. No, I could have done without her too. Both of them could have been not been in this movie, and I'd have been fine with it.
The movie wouldn't have changed. So the decision that they made to include this kid was already a bad move for me. Or at least get a better actor in the role, because this, my God, she was boring. I hated her. I don't even know her real name, but I just remember every time she was on screen, like, my God, this sucks. So that was not great for me. I like Brandon Lee in this movie, but there are points where he's a little bit too much, if that makes sense. Like
maybe a little too brooding and a little too
brooding, and sometimes even a little bit too silly.
At certain points, he is, yes.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
But it doesn't take me out of the film if you understand that.
I understand it doesn't take you out of it, but it really. The tone shifts so rapidly when he decides that he's going to have fun with it. Like, you need to pick a personality. Like, you're brooding and you're out for revenge, or you're basically the Joker. So that was something that I thought was an interesting choice for them to make when they were making this. And I don't know if it was just him or the director telling him to do it, but I don't know. I just didn't like it.
I'm sure a lot of that was Lee, because you see, I see what he's trying to go for. He's being the whimsical clown type to help show them that he does not care. I've got nothing to lose. And I'm going to have fun while I kill you guys.
Yeah, I mean, when he goes after the first bad guy, which is the
Tintin.
Yeah, the guy with the dreads in the alley, and it wasn't as comical. But when he goes after Drew Barrymore's mom and her drug dealer boyfriend or whatever,
yeah, fun boy.
Yeah, and he's trying to make Jesus jokes and all that. I'm like, really? That is not the same person that took place during the last murder. So it was just kind of weird. That he just changed tone so quickly. I mean, if he'd have stuck to one of them, it would have been fine, and I would have understood. But
well, I think he's during that scene he's mocking Fun Boy,
right? And
because he's really the only one he kind of does that with, where he's jokey and
kind of. There, you could argue he's kind of playing that again when he breaks into the bad guy's meeting room or something in front of everybody, and he's kind of being a smart ass and what have you, but it just kind of didn't stick for me.
I got you. But I can see that. It's a legitimate criticism.
And I really loved Ernie Hudson. I mean,
I love him in everything he does, man.
I can't say anything bad about him in this movie because he played it straight. He was exactly what you would expect somebody in this situation to be like. He's like, this is freaking crazy. He's a cop that just I don't know, found out that there's life after death or whatever, and he just kind of plays it. How would you describe that?
He was very
he was accepting of it,
very accepting, very nonchalant.
Yeah.
He just kind of figured it out. Like, maybe this has happened before, but I don't know.
Now, I will say this about the movie, and I do love it. This is one of the only things that I love about this movie, and that's the main villain, because I love this guy in everything I've seen him in.
Me too.
He was Rochefort in the Disney Three Musketeers movie with Tim Curry. He is the warden in Count of Monte Cristo, which is my favorite film. I love that guy as the warden. He was freaking awesome. And in this movie, he is definitely the highlight of the film for me.
He's also in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He's
yes.
He's the cousin to the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yes, so he was amazing. So I will say that about him. I don't know the guy's name.
That's what really shines in this movie. The bad guys are a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like every bad guy. They're a ton of fun. Just how over the top, just rambunctious and reckless they are. It's not believable in any sense. No. But I can't get enough of it.
Now, this is I probably haven't seen this in about 7 or 8 years. And I watched it last night. I might have just not been paying attention, or they don't explain it. Do they even tell you why they kill Eric and his fiancée, or is that just kind of a thing that happened? Because if it is, it's pretty freaking dark.
Yeah, they explained it a couple of times.
Okay, because I was not listening. I just wanted this movie to be over.
The guy, they own that part of town, and so they're trying to evict everyone out of the building and relocate them, so they can do something with it. They never explain that, but she has some of the people sign a petition, and they come up there.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. I forgot.
That's why she gets raped and murdered.
Yeah, there's several parts of this movie that I just was not paying attention, because there are parts that you could definitely skip, like after he kills Fun Boy, and there's that whole breakfast scene with the mom. Really doesn't need to be there. There's several parts of this movie that don't need to be there. Like, I don't really care for the pawn shop scene. It's fun, but does it really do anything? I don't know.
It lets the main bad guy. We keep calling him main bad guy because they never say his name. I made sure I paid attention this time.
Wow, I gotta Google this.
I don't think they ever say his name. I tried to pay attention because to this day, as many times as I've seen this movie, I don't know it.
They just call him Top Dollar.
That's it, Top Dollar.
Yeah, that's what he's
But
called.
But they never
on Google.
say that in the movie. Not that I know of.
So they could just be making that up, I guess. I don't know.
I guess. But yeah, what was I saying?
Something about the pawn shop.
Yeah, it helps. It lets him know. It lets Top Dollar know that this guy is in town. So now he starts actively looking for him.
Right. One thing I don't love, but I do like that this movie doesn't really do a whole lot to explain there's no dialogue, and I appreciate them not taking 5 minutes to explain what the crow and the power that it can. It just shows you.
Yeah.
And I like that throughout the film, it doesn't say anything about it. It just lets you know through action.
Yeah, I'm really, really glad we didn't get that scene.
Right.
Where they're looking through an old lore book.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
I'm so glad we didn't get
Dude, that cliche has been done a million times, like Wishmaster and Catwoman and all kinds of stupid crap. Don't tell us the lore in a 5-minute scene where they have this freaking book. Just show us.
It could have been Top Dollar's sister with I found this old book while I was smoking eyes, and it turns out that the crow, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm really, really glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, and that's a great way to tell a story because, oh my God. I'm thinking back to Wishmaster because it's one of them that does it well, but again, you don't really need it because they do explain what the djinn is all about, and, it helps, but it's something you could have figured out.
Right.
But
that's because this concept's very simple.
Yes. It's very simple in this film as well.
He's immortal because the crow brought him back to life, and as long as the crow's with him, he's fine.
Yeah, or as long as even the crow doesn't have to be with him, as long as the crow is unharmed.
Yeah.
Which they show you later because he figured it out without a book. He just kind of pieced it together, and then he shot the crow, and you're like, oh, okay, so that makes sense. Thanks, movie, for not holding my hand.
Exactly.
And I liked that. I
think especially for a 90s comic book film, this is really good.
It's good for what it
is.
Yeah,
this is not a masterpiece.
No.
Don't misunderstand me.
No.
I'm just saying that I really like watching this movie.
But there are throngs of people on this planet that consider it a masterpiece, and I just think that they're crazy. It's not a masterpiece. Is it fun for people? Sure. But for me, I think that I've just been beaten over the head by social media for the last 8 years that treat this movie like it's indestructible.
Oh, come on now. It can't rain all the time.
Shut the fuck up. I swear to God. I'll just be scrolling through Facebook and I'll see that they think it's some meaningful and inspirational. No, it's just a stupid line from a dumb movie. Stop taking stock in this line and relating it to your life. It's just a dumb line. God, calm down.
Oh, the movie's not.
I hate when people do that.
It's not subtle. I'll give it that. It's not subtle. But
no.
Again, you got to look at it through a little bit of a different lens, in my opinion, just because of what it is and when it came out.
And trust me, I did not. Not one time did I think, oh my God, it's so dated. I know when it was made. I'm very aware of, it being a product of its time. That I can take that out of my brain when I'm watching it. Mm-hmm. It's just not as good to me as it is to other people. And that has nothing to do with it being a very 90s movie.
Hey, because it was like a $20 million budget, and it made like 150 worldwide. So it more than made its money back. So yeah, it found an audience for sure.
And with great profits come shitty sequels.
Well, the reason these sequels suck is because there's nothing else to do with it. All you can do is tell the same story again.
Yeah, just kind of like you do with, all these other movies like Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger and, Michael Myers. It's the same story. There's nothing new you can do with it. I'm saying this having seen 0 sequels to this movie because I just don't want to. I have absolutely no idea what thing you can do with a sequel that's going to blow my mind. Is it good? I mean, hell, answer in the comments. Is it the same? Is it the same character, or is it just somebody completely new that the Crow just happened to help? I don't know, but even if it's either or, it still sucks.
I made it through. I tried to watch the sequel long time ago. I didn't make it through about 20, 30 minutes.
Do you remember if it was the same person or just a complete?
I don't.
You don't.
I don't remember.
Well, see, and let's say it was the same character. Or it was a completely different character going through the same stuff.
I want to say it's a different character.
Does that make it good or just dumb? Like either situation is boring.
Yeah.
Because it's the same character doing the same shit, or it's a different character doing the same shit.
Yeah, you can't do much with this.
And I'm pretty sure there's at least 4 or 5 of these fucking sequels. I don't know how many there are. I just know there's more than one.
I think there's 3. There's 3 sequels. The second one went to theaters, it bombed, and then the last 2 came straight to video.
Wow. That's really sad.
Now, do you think that this movie would have done as well as it did, or had the fan base that it has, had Brandon Lee not tragically died on set?
I know it's a travesty that happened, and it sucks that we lost him, but no, I don't. I think that helped a lot. Because, I mean, think about, other movies where that happened, where, think about, I don't think The Dark Knight would have been it would have done freaking phenomenally.
Yeah.
But would people hold Heath Ledger to such a high standard if he hadn't passed away due to that role?
That, I say yes. Because that performance stands on its own.
I very much agree, but the fact that...
Do I think he would have got an Oscar? No.
No.
Because Oscars are political.
Absolutely. And I feel like people are holding the Joker to this high standard. He did very well, don't get me wrong. But the fact that he died, I feel like people are putting it higher on a pedestal than it should be. And that's my opinion for this movie as well.
And because before The Crow, Brandon Lee was in a couple of just, B action flicks.
Yeah.
I think that this movie, had he not died, would have catapulted him into superstardom. Because his performance is good enough, and it's different enough from what he's done before, because this wasn't a martial arts flick. It had martial arts in it, but it was not a martial arts flick at all.
I don't think catapulted is the right word. It definitely would have opened some doors for him, but like with Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man, that catapulted him. But I don't think it would have been the same story. It was a decent enough film. He did a good job with the role, but I think he would have had a couple more years before he was actually taken seriously. Because I mean it's just a dumb.
It definitely would have got him a lot more attention for sure.
Yeah, but as far as the word catapulted goes, I wouldn't use that term. I think he would have.
Okay,
like I said, he would have done fine after that. Mm-hmm. There would have been opportunities, but it would have taken him a while. Because it wasn't like this mesmerizing performance. It was just he just had fun with it. And
he did.
And that's fine because
you can tell he's having fun with it.
Absolutely, he is. But he wasn't like anything groundbreaking or inspirational or tear jerking. It was just a bad situation that I feel like helps the film.
Yeah. Now, and you can also tell the reshoots where they use a different actor.
Yeah.
Because you never see his face.
Yeah,
the shots where the shot where he's playing guitar on the roof, the scene where he's putting on his makeup, and when Sarah's up there and she starts to walk away, and then the sun appears all of a sudden, and then he's standing there, but you don't see his face. That's the body double.
Yeah, because weren't they like 90% done with this film when it
happened?
Yeah,
they were. They were about 90% done. He died, and then they had to get more money from the studio, and the studio at the time wouldn't do it. They didn't want to finish the film.
Yeah.
They thought that the violence in the movie was in bad taste because of how he died on set. But Miramax came in and took the movie, gave them another like $8 million, and then they finished it with a couple of reshoots and hiring the body double, and they finally got it edited together and released.
Which, just the way he died, how in the hell do you fuck that up?
They were test firing the gun with real rounds to make sure it worked.
They most certainly should have never been doing that.
And they part of that got lodged in the chamber, or in the barrel actually, and they didn't check the goddamn gun.
That should have
never happened. And when they put the blank
happened.
in the gun, it was a .45 Magnum. When they put the blank in the gun and it fired, it shot that shrapnel out and hit him right in the chest.
I know this happened a long time ago, but that should have never happened. I don't think they should have ever been using live rounds at all. If it's a prop, if it's a movie and it's a prop, you don't need to be test firing it with real ammunition.
No,
because you're not going to be using real ammunition when you're filming. So why are you doing it?
It was a huge oversight on the staff, and it cost someone his life. Which is sad. And there's a whole thing like that, the Bruce Lee curse, the curse of the dragon or whatever, because Bruce Lee died so young, and now his son's dead. But no, it's just a couple of freak accidents.
Yeah, which one of them was easily avoidable. So I don't.
Oh, both of them were.
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about Bruce Lee's death because I've only seen like maybe two.
He
or
had
three of his movies.
He had a headache, and I think it was like the daughter or the someone of his like director friend over in Hong Kong, she gave him a prescription medicine, and it wound up he was allergic to it. He had an allergic reaction. His brain swelled up on him, and he died.
Wow, I learn something new every day. That just sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the story's really simple, so I don't really have a whole lot more to say about the movie.
No. He comes
nitpicks
to
here
life,
and
and he has Ernie Hudson help him, and not really help him, not too much. Towards the end, he does.
Yeah, he kind of doesn't really do anything until maybe.
He was trying to regain his memory from him.
Right. Yeah, 3/4 into the movie, and they finally team up or whatever. But yeah, very simple story. Just
the bad guys are bad because they're bad.
Oh my God, they might as well wear a sign around their neck that says "I'm bad." Yeah, obviously, we're not dumb. But I do love Top Dollar because he's a bad guy, and damn, he had fun with that.
Yes, he did.
That dude's his name is Michael Wincott, by the way, because I had him pulled up because I wanted to know what his name was, and
my daddy always used to say.
But. All right, so that's pretty much why I don't like the movie, and I
get it. I don't know if I would like this movie had I not seen it when it was out.
I didn't see it until I was probably 20 years old, because I was born in '90, so I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater. But yeah, I thought it was fun the first time I saw it, and then social media just pretty much beat you over the head with how great it was, and I'm like, am I watching the same movie y'all are? So I watched it again, and I was like, this is not as great as everybody on Facebook says it is. So I kind of just put it away and never watched it again.
No, I don't think this is a masterpiece, but I do think this is a very fun urban fantasy film.
I will not say that it's not fun. I can agree with that. It is a fun movie, but I just don't think it's great.
I got you.
I
think it's great because of that.
There are a lot of movies that I don't think are great, but they're a lot of fun, and I'll watch them. I think The Mummy is fun. I don't think it's a great movie. With Brendan Fraser. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not a masterpiece.
Oh no, not at all.
And sometimes movies are like that. Not all of them are going to be good. Not all of them are going to be great. A lot of them are going to be bad. But
I think this movie does a good enough job with the screenplay to get it from point A to point B. You know exactly where you're going the whole entire time.
Yeah.
When it does stray off, it's not for very long. Like the mom and daughter scene in the morning where she's cooking the eggs.
Yeah.
That lasts maybe 2 minutes, and that's okay with me.
Yeah, it's a very simple movie, and I do like that they really don't waste your time.
No, they don't waste time at all.
Which is totally great, because if they had in certain scenes, I'd have turned this damn movie off a long time ago. I'd be like, yeah, I watched it. No, I didn't.
If I do have a complaint about it, is I wish they hadn't have made him a hero.
Yeah,
Because it's a comic book movie. He's got to be a superhero. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to save anybody. He could have found out, like I said before, that Top Dollar was the guy that orchestrated the whole thing, and then, you're going to die now.
Yeah, which I never really...
He didn't have to capture anyone.
He's the main character. I'd never call Draven a hero. He's more of an anti-hero. Kind of like a Jason Todd or a Deadshot.
He's simply a protagonist. That's it.
Yeah, he's not a hero. He's just
he's a murderer.
Yeah, this is a revenge story. He's doing bad things, but people think they're good because he's doing them to bad people, which is why people want to say he's a hero.
You watch him as the movie progresses. As soon as he gets to the boss layer, I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
He basically becomes what he's trying to destroy. Because now he's just killing without impunity. Yeah. And he's just gunning down anybody he can.
Well, he even says when he gets to the boss lair, he's like, I don't give a shit about any of you people.
Yeah, I
want him. That's the only reason I'm here, is to murder him. Y'all go about your lives. That's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Sort of. Not even real. That's just I don't even know if that's an anti-hero. He's killing people who did him wrong. That's just revenge. That's not even an anti-hero.
That's just revenge. And that's all this had to be.
Yeah, which is fine, because I do like that he's not like this white knight. He's a bastard man.
Mm-hmm. He is. He's supposed to be.
Yeah. So, maybe I don't hate this movie as much as I did, or I thought I did at the beginning. Actually getting out and talking about it, yeah, it's fine. it's just fine. Just, I don't want to watch it again.
I do like whenever he gives Top Dollar 30 years of pain all at once. I don't want it anymore. You can have it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it really
almost like a penance stare.
Yeah, it's about this guy letting go of what happened to him. Really, his spirit's letting go, and he finally gets to. And he gets to live with what's her name?
I don't remember.
I Sarah? No, not Sarah. Shelly.
Yeah,
it's Shelly.
Shelly.
He gets to live with her forever and matrimonial afterlife, if there is such a thing.
So that's all I've got on The Crow.
Oh yeah. And there's, as much as I like the film, and as much as I think it tells a pretty good fantasy story, there's not a whole lot to say on it.
No.
The way it's shot is fine. It's nothing groundbreaking. There's a lot of 90s panning overhead and a lot of the edits that you got with those movies.
I totally forgot about those. I just ignored them.
But other than that, if you want a good time, watch it. It's fun.
Just understand
it takes place at Halloween if you are one of those people.
There's a lot of those people. Just understand that while you're watching it, Sarah's the worst.
The absolute worst.
And that's about it. Sarah's the worst. That's all I got.
Okay.
So that's all I took away from this movie. It's like, God, I hate this kid.
Stupid kid.
Beginning the podcast and ending with it. I fucking hated that kid. So I haven't told you what I want to do next week.
No, you have not.
But it's one of my favorite movies, and I will watch this movie any freaking time. I own it on DVD, and I'll just pop it in when I'm feeling froggy. I want to talk about this is another 90s cheese movies, but it's so good. Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze, and Gary Busey.
Holy crap.
Point Break.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite movies.
Okay. I'll do some Point Break. I'll watch Swayze get up there and be Swayze.
And Johnny Utah. The most quarterback name ever.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Later.